Good morning and welcome to the Melbourne Cricket Ground for the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures Game. Pleasure to have your company on what is a brilliant day at the MCG Grand Final Day. And we get to see some of the most talented kids coming through the pathway programs heading towards the 2020 draft. So these kids will be eligible for the draft in 12 months' time. I'm Matthew Cox. A pleasure to have your company this morning. Joining me in the commentary box to guide us through the action is Phil Crooks. How are you, Crooksy?
Matthew, I'm a little bit toey if I was to be totally honest with you, but I don't think I'm as toey as the 40-odd young men, all the 17-year-olds out there on the ground, getting to play on the MCG. Just what a thrill on the biggest day of the year.
It certainly is. Big stage, big occasion, big opportunity. As we know that there's been players in the past that have played in these games and gone on to bigger and better things at the higher level. Also joining us in the commentary box today, a very special guest, Kevin Sheehan, joins us. How are you, Shifter?
Yeah, Matt and Rick, great to be with you. It is a special day, isn't it? And of course, we're looking forward to Richmond and the Giants later, but what an opportunity for these boys. The best boys of their age, as you point out, from right round Australia, getting the chance to strut their stuff on the hard turf a few hours ahead of the big game. And look, this is 4 years now that we've been doing this concept of an All-Stars game. And we reflect back to that 4 years ago when it was Judd versus O'Loughlin, and Cameron Rayner was running out here. And a year later, he went #1 on the draft. But number 28 in that draft was Sam Taylor. He's running out there later today. That's how quickly it can happen for young boys. They can go from the 17-year-old dreaming about what might be in the future to actually becoming a player of the game, as many of the boys have done in the 4 years.
And a couple of the players as part of Team Brown that we'll be keeping our eyes on come to prominence in the last month. Connor Downey playing for the Eastern Rangers and Jamara Ugelhagen. Both of those, Kevin, are Next Generation Academy products.
Yeah, there's quite a number. There's in fact 17, I think, in the group that are either father, son or Next Generation Academy that clubs should take a special interest in today. If you're a fan out there, lock into some of the comments that you'll hear today about the backgrounds to these boys. You might be able to follow their hopes and dreams over the next 12 months. But yeah, there are some stars, including the boys you mentioned, and we look forward to giving you a bit of an insight into what they've done with their footy today.
Elijah Hollins is another one for Team Brown, running around out there, the number 20. Performed incredibly well. As we take a look at Team Del Santo, Crooksy, a player that caught our attention earlier in the year, Errol Goulden from the Swans Academy.
Absolutely. We saw him playing up there at Blacktown early in the year. Not a lot of him, 172 and 62 kilos. So he's a small type of player. A couple of famous brothers in this team too. Number 5, Finlay Mcrae. Very fancy name. Brother of Jackson Mcrae from the Bulldogs. And down the bottom, one of the ruckmen, number 36, Henry Walsh, being the brother of the #1 draft pick last year, Carlton star Sam Walsh. And they look nothing alike, Kevin.
No, you'll see Henry probably at the opening bounce. He's a ruckman over 200 centimetres. I'll tell you what he is, he shares with his brother, and that's competitiveness. They love to compete, the Walsh boys. That's a great starting point for a young man. And yeah, just learning the ruck craft and getting forward, taking a mark from time to time as well. And we'll keep an eye on Big Henry.
Plenty of talent going out onto the park. And if we rewind back 12 months ago, Kevin, the player that was adjudged the best of fields in this match, the one and only Matty Rowell, highly touted to go pick 1 in the 2019 draft. So this is a big stage for players to put their hand up heading towards 2020.
Yeah, certainly is. And yeah, Rao, they'll come in for combine, so it moves quickly. So next Tuesday, that batch will be in. The best 80 players from around the nation will come in for that 4-day job interview called the combine. And Matt Rowell heads up the list of the top prospects that have made that step up from playing in the All-Star game to being a draftee the following year and done it in his stride.
Team Brown wearing the black attire today. Team Del Santo wearing the white. To get us underway, the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures Games, here's Phil Crooks.
All right, we've got Henry Walsh in the ruck for Del Santo, and he gets his hand to the ball first. Ball comes out to centre wing, members side. Gathered and kick forward, and mark is taken. This is Eddie Ford. He kicks to the heart of 50, intercept mark, not taken. Drops to the ground, stacks on the middle. The umpire will come in and ball this up.
That was Braden Campbell out of the centre, kicking on his right foot. Watch for that boy. That was an outstanding pass to Ford, but he's a natural left footer and a very gifted left footer as well.
Close to the boundary line. Now we get a clear handball out. Kick forward by Campbell again. And almost a one-hander taken there by McInnes. Reef McInnes played in a premiership last week for Oakley. Comes out to Campbell. Left foot round the corner. This could be the first, and it is. Good call, Kev. You told us about him straight away in the first minute. Braden Campbell from the Sydney Swans Academy puts the first one on the board for Team Jonathan Brown.
Well, wow. Wow factor straight away. No surprise. This boy is going to be a pretty special player, I think. And one of his great weapons, I suppose, is his kicking. But his ball-winning ability, he's playing on the inside today. We've seen him play wing, half-back at underage level in the last couple of years. So he's just shown a capability just to that burst out of the centre was special. And the finish, well, that's signature stuff for young Braden Campbell.
Played 3 games as a bottom ager in the under-18 championships a little earlier in the year, averaging 12 disposals, 2 marks and 2 tackles in those 3 performances. Also played against New Zealand in the under-17s game earlier in the year and kicked 2 goals and racked up 16 touches on that day. As it's a scramble in the middle, the umpire pays a free kick. It will go the way of Will Phillips. No, the umpire sending it to Hollins instead. One to keep your eye on, Elijah Hollins in the middle of the Melbourne cricket ground. He goes straight up the corridor. Inside 50, searching for Ugelhagen, was unable to take it. Plenty of pressure applied on the ball carrier. We'll get a ball up.
Elijah Hollins captaining the Team Brown today, announced by Luke Power, the coach of that side, last night to the team that he would get that honour. Very promising player from the Murray Bushrangers.
Just trying to hack it away there was Walsh.
Caught.
And the umpire's pinned holding the footy. So a free kick will go the way of Team Brown. And a player that caught our eye earlier in the year, Blake Coleman from the Brisbane Lions Academy, a live wire forward of centre.
Saw him strut his stuff up there at Southcorp early in April. Exciting prospect.
Blake Coleman. Slow and steady approach for Team Brown's second. He doesn't miss. 3 minutes into the opening term, 2 straight 12 Team Brown. Team Del Santo yet to go forward of centre.
Yeah, interesting year for all these boys. So Blake Coleman, in fact, played 5 matches earlier in the year in the NAB League. The Brisbane Lions, of course, play in the NAB League for those 5 games. And as a 17-year-old, it was quite impressive play. Kicked 4 goals against the Rangers in one of the matches. So that chance to match it up against the best boys from down in Victoria is a terrific insight into what's required for the boys from Queensland. And we look forward to Blake Coleman's his 18th year next year to see how he unfolds.
Back in the middle, Walsh gets the tap down. Del Santo looking forward to get the ball forward. Comes to Bowie. He can't quite pick it up. Ball right on centre half forward. Can't get out. Scrambly footy as the ball gets flipped out. Caught in a tackle. Releases his Durden. Again, just a chaos footy on half forward flank. Northern side of the MCG. Pack develops. Umpire looks, he'll come in and throw this up. Right on the 50-metre arc. Plenty of voice. Plenty of talk. Here we've got Reid. Gets his hand to it. Again, ball on dispute underneath a pack. They feed it out wide. Eventually it's going to go forward through McInnes by hand. They get it across. Downey takes a bounce, releases, gets our give and get, and gives again. They stream forward through Crozier. He's tackled, caught. Umpire says, you had your opportunity and the tackle is rewarded. They kick to centre wing, looking for Bowie, but the big man in Brand comes across, intercepts. Now they're kicking forward. Bowie gets it across, going for goal is Ford, comes back and makes it. Just had the nice draw on the footy. came through, and Eddie Ford from the Western Jets puts through the third goal for Team Jonathan Brown. You can just see the smile on Jay Brown's face now.
That's a great finish, isn't it, from Eddie Ford, a boy that really has shown some real class as a half forward for the Western Jets, coached there by Ryan O'Keefe, who himself a Lorne Smith medalist out on this big stage. But Ford, yeah, mercurial type of player, very good in the air, noted for having some exceptional innate ability around goal. That's a great finish. I want to go back to that rundown tackle for Nathan O'Driscoll from Team Del Santo just moments before. Wasn't that a great effort? A great passage of play by Team Brown going forward, but O'Driscoll was able to get a hand on it, lay that tackle. That's what the clubs, the recruiters that are here watching, love to see, those people that really compete in every aspect of the game.
Ball flicks out wide here for Gribble. He gives a quick handball to Jeffery, centre wing, members side. Goes towards the top of the 50. Off hands, Lake. Take the handball away. It's chipped over the top. Carter Michael takes it and got collared. Goes back in after it, still fighting for it. Great endeavour from Michael. He's all wrapped up. And we'll get a ball up centre wing. 3 straight 18, Team Brown. Team Del Santo yet to hit the scoreboard. Again, Jeffery roving on the outside. Put the handball into space for Ford up against the boundary line. Just bounced a little awkwardly there for Braden Campbell. Back over the boundary line and out of play.
And Joel Jeffery, one of the most promising players from the Northern Territory, the son of Russell Jeffery. Russell at St Kilda in Brisbane, and was a fantastic player out of the Northern Territory, Russell. But this boy looks a real type for me. Half back, half forward, or through the midfield. A real likely type at 189 centimetres.
Ball comes out, goes forward through Bowie. He kicks in short, can't find it. Good defence. Wrapped up in a tackle there, ball going nowhere. Again, it's a hot footy. The boys are going at it 100% here. Hot potato. They get the ball clear. Now a little bit of space. Not a lot of time to move. They jump all over him. We're close to the boundary line and out of bounds. They've jumped out of the barriers fairly quickly, Matthew.
There's plenty of endeavour from the Team Brown side of things. Team Del Santo just can't get their hands on it at the moment.
Ball thrown in between half forward and wing, member side of the ground. Mcrae can't quite pick it. Again, may have been caught high. Ball towards the boundary line. Ford again, just overruns it, hits the deck, gets up. Good work, feeds the handball out. It's a quick kick forward by Smith. Goes to centre wing, strong mark by Joel Jeffery. Half forward flank. A couple of kicks out from goal. They're going to the city end, Ponsford stand end. Long kick, inside 50. The big men fly. Ball comes to the ground. It's a kick in hope into the centre of the ground. Oh, nice. Almost a mark taken there by Tanner Broon. Comes out the back. He follows it up. Might end up with it. Ball in dispute. Caught underneath. And the umpire will come in and ball this up in between centre and wing, outer side of the ground.
Thrown up. Favour Bowie out the back. Again, Team Brown with all the momentum. Stevens now on the centre wing. Kick partially smothered. Edwards coming through. He's wrapped up. And the umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. A father-son prospect there, Luke Edwards.
And a very good player too, the son of Tyson Edwards, a 300-game player for the Crows. And Luke's done everything right in terms of his progression this year. He's a very consistent player for South Australian State under-18 team this year. And a dominant player at Colts level, averaging 23 disposals a game, playing back there at Glenelg.
I suppose we'll have to start getting used to the Adelaide teams starting to get father-sons now. Something we're used to.
It's Del Santo's Team Del Santo. That was Marr that got the kick away, but again, it's intercepted by Team Brown, and they want to bring it across to the members' side. Campbell head over the footy, trying to apply the tackle, escaping it though Durden. Takes a bounce, running through the middle of the MCG, goes inside 50, and it's 1 on 3, and the 3 win out. Team Brown get a clearing kick outside a defensive 50. It's a bouncing ball. Pressure just going up a notch at the moment. Losing control of it there though, Dumsney. And a free kick will go the way of Reef McGuinness on halfback.
Reef McGuinness, halfback flank. Plenty of talk. Pops in a shorty. Sam Collins marks. Collins. Kicks down the line. Again, 1 on 3. Fed over wide by Brand. Gets it across to Brodie Lake. Now we've got... This is Joel Weston. Under the pump here, Team Del Santo. They go in short, Parker. Parker. Got some options. Joshua Green. A little bit of tempo footy here. Just trying to find their mark. They try to pinpoint. Just goes loose. Cut off by Luke Edwards. Edwards goes laterally. They get it across to Bowie. He measures his kick. He's looking for Coleman. Coleman on the lead. Plenty of space. He'll wheel round on the right. Has a look. Looking for a shorty in the pocket. Close to the boundary line. They keep it in. Handballed under a heap of pressure there. Dragged off the footy. Team Del Santo with numbers in the ball. They kick to centre wing. They need to get it out the back. Plenty of black jerseys out there. They've got the composure, they've got the footy. Now they kick inside 50 to a big pack. 2 bites of the cherry. Not paid, wrapped up in a tackle. And the ball to be thrown up 30 metres out. Ponsford end in front of the Team Brown goals.
Let's, for the first time today, welcome Siobhan Rowe to the coverage down boundary side.
Thanks, Matt. As you'd expect, conditions are beautiful down at ground level, but there is a slight breeze favouring the city end, which might have assisted that Eddie Ford goal to sail through just before. Pre-game, Braden Walker playing for Team Brown, who's a Fremantle Next Generation Academy prospect, was a late out, so Team Brown playing with 23 rather than 24 players on the ground today.
Thank you very much to Siobhan Rowe. Looking after the boundary for us today. The handball from O'Driscoll through the middle. Team Del Santo just trying to get something going forward. Applying the tackle there was Ollie Lord. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up. Just inside attacking 50. They trail by 18 points, 13.5 minutes gone in the opening term. The 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures game. Ma lost control of it. Gribble coming through. Feeds the handball out wide. Bowie. Done well to spread, searching for Phillips. He takes the mark on the half-forward flank. Southern stand side of the ground. Inside 50 now, Team Brown, top of the goal square. No one able to claim the mark. Coleman hovering, still hovering. Trying to get boot to ball there was Hollins, dribbling it towards the scoreline. Doesn't go through. Team Del Santo composed to Mcrae. Still inside defensive 50. Comes wide with the kick. Dumsney goes short to Ma. Defensive side of the broadcast wing. Go over the top to O'Driscoll, who takes a great contest mark.
O'Driscoll bang on centre wing. Left footed, goes in short, finds his man in Alex Davies. Alex Davies kicks to the hot spot. Gee, they could do with a mark, and they've got one. And lovely mark taken by Henry Smith. Henry Smith, South Australian, Kev, from Woodville.
Yeah, and a boy of 203 centimetres, hey? He's not 17 yet. 17 in next month. I seen him play last week. They had a futures game on as part of their grand final day over there at the Adelaide Oval last weekend. And certainly his ruck work was good, but his marking up forward could be a real weapon for him, this boy.
Smith comes in, kicks, looks nice off the boot, straight through the centre. That's what the Del Santo boys wanted. Just wanted to settle the nerves, get on the scoreboard. That's his first, their first 3 goals straight to 1 goal straight. Jonathan Brown's team holding sway.
And both these teams had the unique insight to hear from Jonathan Brown and Nick Del Santo, respectively, during the week. And they recalled their own journeys, including the fact that they played in curtain races as kids 20 years ago, back in the day of the Victorian Under-18 competition known then as the TAC Cup. Jonathan Brown playing for the Geelong Falcons and Nick Del Santo for the Bendigo Pioneers. And both boys said separately as they spoke to their teams about the learnings and the inspiration they got out of that particular day that helped set them in a good stead for their careers. Many other priceless messages on how to succeed as well from Brown and Del Santo to these lads.
As Hagen sends it forward for Team Brown, touched just prior to going over the boundary line and out of play. I wonder whether there would have been a conversation, Kevin, between Jonathan Brown, given the coach of Team Brown is his former teammate Luke Power. Some instructions between the two.
That's a great goal.
Hurried kick out of the contest from Eddie Ford for his second.
Yes. We use the term mercurial, you know, that you do some freakish sort of things. Well, that's the impression in seeing him play half a dozen times this year, that sometimes you only need a glimpse of it. And that's all he got there. His hands were good, a glimpse at the goals and bang, it's through. That's a very good sign. He's had a wonderful start to the game. In fact, up to 6 possessions and a couple of goals in 17 minutes. That's a wonderful start by the boy from the Western Jets.
Back in the middle. Umpire getting ready. We've got Cody Brand in the ruck for Team Brown. They get the clearance. This is Campbell. He gets caught, slung and holding the ball. Free kick to Team Del Santo. They go wide. This is Schofield, son of Jared Schofield. The kick's got a little bit too much on it. And that man Ford is the story out of the first quarter. Eddie Ford, he kicks to half forward. Kick just astray. And defensive mark taken. This is Joshua Green. He kicks along the line. The big men fly. Comes off hands. Collins gets it through to Hagen. Got a little bit much on it, and it's over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Crossing down to the boundary now, Siobhan Rowe.
Definitely no players shirking any contest down here, with medical staff just taping up a few players' knees with some cuts and bruises.
So it's thrown in, attacking side of the broadcast wing for Team Brown. They get it again to Ford, who just whacks boot to ball inside 50. Again, no one able to claim the mark. Team Del Santo trying to release a little bit of pressure. They get it to Jones. The half-back flank. He'll pop it over the top to Carter Michael. Just held up. The centre wing southern stand side of the ground. It's a high looping ball towards centre half forward. Flying was Hagen, unable to bring it in.
Too high.
And an Errol Goulden will receive the free kick. A Swans Academy product. It's a low, piercing ball inside 50. Off hands, Durden. Dribbling just to the left-hand side and a minor score.
And that's, of course, Corey Durden, who is the captain of Team Del Santo, a boy from Central District in SA. And again, a boy at 17 years of age that has made his debut at senior level. Played for SA at under-18 level in national championships as well. The winner of the best and fairest at under-16 level last year in Division 1. So a very quick and talented player through midfield and up forward is the number 3, Corey Durden.
Nice tackle there by Jackson Callow. We're right behind this one, Matto. We'll see if we can ping this one in. Good players kick from this area. He fancies his chances here too. He's gone back off the long run.
Kicked 24 goals from 14 games in the NAB League season for the Tassie side.
Tassie boy. Jackson Callow just goes out on the arc. Gives it a fair old hoik. It's going to land right in the square. Oh, gift. Are we going to go to the arc? We don't need to. It's going to be a goal. And that was Matthew.
Xavier Moore, I think, was the one that...
I think it might have been Henry Walsh. Henry Walsh, brother of Sam. We'll just watch that on the replay. He was just the Johnny on the spot, on the spot, and the big fella's just picking apples off a tree. Good work, Henry.
That's a couple of great moments for him. He was the guy that laid the tackle at the centre bounce.
Yep.
Now, for a bloke at 202 centimetres to get after the small fella and be able to wrap him up and win the free kick, gave it off quickly, so the play moved on. And then within a few minutes, he's up there getting at ground level.
He's crumbing a goal, Kev.
A couple of great signs from this young fella. He'll get better and better as he learns his craft, but he's got that competitive edge, which is a great start.
As Ford releases the handball, they flick it out further to Collins. Just puts it into a bit of space for Gribble. He's under immediate pressure, though, into the hands of Goulden on the wing. High ball inside 50 for Team Del Santo. Just came off hands, or a little scattered there. Team Brown, great tackle. Is it rewarded there? Collins laying it on, it is. He'll look to switch, risky, coming late was Weston. Crozier composed, gets it across. Team Brown able to get out of defensive 50. Good body work there from Tracy, goes inside 50 as the siren sounds. For quarter time here at the MCG. 4 straight 24 Team Brown, 2-1 13 Team Del Santo in the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures Games. Quick thought, Shifter, from that opening term?
I think it was a fantastic standard of footy for a start. The boys are 17 that have just come together a couple of days ago. Their fundamentals were terrific. A couple of the leading possession winners quickly. Eddie Ford with 9 disposals and 2 goals has been a star. Alex Davies with 7. Nathan O'Driscoll with 6. And Corey Durden with 4. Also very, very good for their respective sides. But that's a great start. And I think our game's in pretty good shape if these are the boys we're going to see in the next generation at AFL level.
Well, the one thing I'll take out of that quarter, I thought, is this going to be an exhibition game? There was 40 tackles late in that first quarter, and they all hurt.
Yes. Brilliant opening term here. We'll take a break and be back with the second quarter of the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17 Futures game.
I'm down on the ground with Luke Power, the coach of Team Brown. Great start for the team. What was your message to the boys just then?
No, we had Jonathan Brown, my ex-teammate, come and talk to us the other night, and basically talked about the two rules that he has for his young girl Olivia, who plays footy, and they're try and support your teammates. So the only thing that I'm telling them today is to try and support their teammates. Really important parts of the game.
What type of challenges the MCG pose for these young boys? Obviously a bigger ground in terms of the width and the length.
Yeah, it is a bigger ground. Obviously, they're probably used to playing on smaller grounds, but I just think that they relish the opportunity to come out and play here, and we're really fortunate that these players can come and experience this on such a special day.
You've got plenty of talent at your disposal. Who's impressed you so far?
I thought Eddie Ford started really well. I thought Will Phillips started really well, but more than that, I thought that in these games they can tend to get a little bit selfish, but I thought that they brought each other into the game really well early.
And obviously a mix of players currently in the team. What type of game style are you hoping to see them play, and what type of collective, as a collective, what have you seen these players possess?
Oh, it's a good point. We just wanted to see really good fundamentals, and we want them to play on instinct and back themselves in. Exciting footy.
Thanks, Luke. Good luck.
Siobhan Road down boundary side, chatting there with the coach of Team Brown, Luke Power. A change up here in the commentary box. Cal Toomey joins us for the first time today. Welcome, Cal.
G'day, Matt. G'day, Cooksey. How are you?
I'm very well, Cal. I was from afl.com.au. Impressed with that first quarter, Cal?
It was great, wasn't it? We came here to see the highlights, and as Luke said, see players play some exciting footy, and we saw that in the first team. Eddie Ford was outstanding with a couple of goals from 9 touches, and Will Phillips continued his form from what we've all seen at NAB League level over the past month and throughout the season. So looking forward to seeing who else stands up over the next 3 quarters.
Ball in the forward pocket, up at the city end of the ground. Team Del Santo in the predominantly white Guernsey and shorts, and Team Brown in the black, both with stars on their on the front, which is very appropriate, thanks to our very good friends at NAB. Ball thrown in. Team Brown trying to run onto it. There is Crozier. He loses the footy, snap at goal, and that is Corey Durden, who has put that through. And great start for Team Del Santo, 3-1-19 to 4 goals straight, and South Australian from Central Districts.
Yeah, the captain for his team today, and look, we've seen him do this at different stages throughout this year. Look, at under 16s level even, he was a standout. Then he won the MVP there for South Australia's All-Australian, played senior footy for Central Districts this season, and played really well as a small forward. So I think he knows that although how good he is at his own age level in the midfield, some work as a small forward, and his ability to take the chance when he's up there and be that Caleb Daniel type, who did come through the under-18 system as a small forward before becoming a star half-back this season for the Bulldogs. So that's the likeness there, the player that I think he'll get compared to a lot over the next 18 months.
Was interesting, Cal, that in the late in the first quarter there, he had a similar opportunity at this end, and he kicked it like the little right boomerang, and it missed. Yeah. And I thought, well, he tried to go to his left foot if he gets another chance, and he didn't. He stuck with what he knew, and he got it. So well done.
Taken immediately is Reef McGuinness. And we should get a ball up. Still inside the centre square here at the MCG. Grand final day 2019. The best young talent coming through, eligible for the 2020 draft, playing today. Handball comes to Broon inside 50. Team Del Santo, they've started this second term much better than the opening. Goulden caught. The umpire says, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
He's always pretty dangerous around goal, isn't he, Errol Goulden? We've seen that across the year, and even for the Allies against Vic Metro down at Geelong, he played a ripping game. So the big stage hasn't daunted him throughout his season, and best on ground a couple of weeks ago, also playing in Sydney in a grand final.
A member of the Swans Academy, and an excitement machine when he played in the NAB League season a little earlier on, part of the Div 2 Academy Series. So we'll get a boundary throw in. Half forward for Team Del Santo.
Ball thrown in. Taken out of the ruck there by Thilthorpe. Can't get clear. Now it comes out wide. Looking for a big mark in the pocket, and the mark is taken. Let me just pick him up here. The mark is taken by Oliver Henry.
Yeah, familiar name because he's the younger brother of Jack and plays in a little bit of a similar way. We saw the overhead marking strength. Jack, of course, has found his own in Geelong's back half.
He's kicked that, had the right idea, wrong execution, and that is touched over the boundary line.
Oliver's also very versatile, so we see him up forward at the moment for Team Del Santo, but can also be shifted to defence.
Ball thrown in next to the point post. This is a bit too easy as Goulden comes in. Lovely double tap by Ollie Lord. Read that play well. And Team Brown just having a little snooze there in the back pocket and just straight down to Goulden, who had the easiest of kicks. And Team Del Santo take the lead, 4-1-25 to 4 goals straight, 24, 5 minutes into the second term.
We mentioned how dangerous he is in those sort of positions, and he didn't let that one go unwasted. Look, he won the best on ground medal, as I mentioned earlier, for the New South Wales Eastern Suburbs in last week's AFL Sydney Grand Final, so he comes into this game with some confidence and some form, and certainly doing his prospects no dramas for next season, because the Swans recruiters will be here, they'll be watching it and seeing how he prepares and takes on this big stage.
And they'll look to go forward here again. Davies goes wide to O'Driscoll. He goes towards the half-forward flank. Contest. Off hands, gathering it. Henry flicks it back towards the 50-metre arc. Just a hot footy at the moment. Team Brown have lost the composure that they had in the opening term. Good smother from Oliver Henry to push the ball out of bounds. Throw in southern stand side of the ground. 1 point lead in favour of Team Del Santo. Took them a while to get on the scoreboard. They've worked into the game nicely. Bobbling ball. Downey coming through. Fed it by hand to Schofield. Gets it back into Schofield. Sold a bit of candy. Share it around. Phillips. Short one towards half forward didn't pay off. And again, Team Del Santo looking the better side at the moment. Lakes switches it wide. O'Driscoll, he takes the mark. Short one up the corridors. Okay, Carter-Michael. He takes the mark and sends it inside 50 for Team Del Santo. Comes out the back. They've still got numbers. Callow around his body. Through for another. It's his first of the day, but Team Del Santo, they're on a roll at the moment, Cal.
They are. Jackson Callow's on a roll too. He kicked 3 goals in the grand final last week for North Launceston. So again, another player who hits this game in some good form. He's had some brute strength, and we saw that then. Some real power around his legs, and certainly makes the most of his opportunities. But look, a lot of players involved there. Another one was Carter-Michael, who's a member of the Brisbane Lions Academy. We saw his turn onto the left side and his delivery inside forward. He's a nice size, Carter-Michael, 188 centimetre boy, so playing a number of different positions. And again, another player out there who's attached to a club, the Brisbane Lions Academy. So Lions supporters out there can have a look at his prospects for next season.
Ball back in the centre. Neither ruckman get a decisive ball. Still in the centre. Jackson Callow, with the movement of Tasmanian footy, and sort of they'll be looking to get a team in the VFL shortly, and is that his path, or could he be heading anywhere?
Oh, well, he's obviously here, and he's shown enough to suggest he's in the best 48 players for next year's draft. So, look, I'm really interested to see how he plays next year. All things point to a productive season because what he's done this year is a bottom major. So, obviously, he'll be a part of that Allies program next year, and we'll see how he goes in the mid-year championships. That'll be a key point for all of these guys out there today.
I've just got a vested interest in key forwards, Cal.
Fair enough.
Anyone I see.
Yes, we like key
got
forwards.
a tick next to.
Well, here's a really talented one too, in Ollie Lord.
Ollie Lord, 45-degree angle, kicking from 45 metres out. Just to the right, through for... No, just missed and out of bounds on the full. Complete reversal of the first quarter. Team Brown just need to get some composure. Saxon Crozier in defensive 50. Kicks to the members' side. The big men fly. Oh, almost took second bite of the cherry. Nice little smother by Phillips. He pops one on the left boot up forward. Couldn't quite take it. Might have been interfered with. Good call by the umpire. Reef McInnes. McInnes goes laterally. Phillips. Phillips kicks to the heart of 50. Team Del Santo caught, slung, not paid. Comes out wide. Good interception. Good work by hand by Carroll. Ends up in the hands of Marr. Marr on the right boot. Kicks to 50. Over the top. Great grab. Oliver Henry. That was a lovely mark. He wants to get on with it. He kicks. It's penetrating. Up they go. Couldn't quite get over there, and they rush it over the boundary, over the goal line for a behind.
And that all started with the great interception on half-back by Joel Weston, who's a Fremantle next-generation prospect. He played in Claremont's Colts Grand Final winning team this last week. So a small forward who's obviously playing some time in defence today, but certainly one to watch for the 2020 pool.
Downey receives and gave the handball quickly. The kick well wide of Phillips. Had to work hard for it. Come off second best. Team Brown just can't find a pathway forward at the moment. Downey tries to give the handball to Ford.
Oh, well done.
Gets stolen away in the end, and Team Del Santo will go forward once again. It's a bouncing ball. Belace chasing after it. And quite laconic there to see it over the boundary line.
Get a free
Throw
kick.
it in.
All the next generation, is this a trend or is it an exception to the rule?
No, I think it's a growing trend. I mean, clubs are investing more in the program. More players are becoming eligible. Obviously, there's been a criteria sort of crackdown in this year, but I think that over the next couple of years, we'll see more and more, and that's where the AFL obviously has become more comfortable with the fact that a lot of the players will be already tied to clubs, and they see that as a development tool.
It's a short kick. Mark taken here by Hollins inside defensive 50. Comes wide. It's a searching kick to Ugelhagen. Highly touted. He's aligned. One of those next generation academy players with the Western Bulldogs. Brand, he takes the mark. The team Del Santo, a short pass to Perkins. Centre wing on the members' side. He goes inboard. Davies goes further afield to Chapman. Takes it. Short pass to the top of the 50. Bobbled off the chest of Marr. Close to the boundary line. He socketed it cleverly. Unfortunately, though, runs out of room. Good endeavour there from Xavier Marr, a Murray Bushrangers product. We'll get a boundary throw in. Team Del Santo just dominating the momentum forward of centre at the moment. As it's tossed back in. And again, ball will be immediately balled up.
A big tackle there by Alex Davies, who's now the leading possession winner on the ground with 12 touches and 3 clearances. So a really good start for the Gold Coast Academy prospect.
Ball comes out. It's a quick snap by Joel Weston, and to the left, out of bounds on the full. Great story, Alex Davies, Cal, all the way from Cairns.
Yeah, all the way from Cairns and
down to the Gold Coast Suns Academy.
Yep. Yeah, and look, he's a nice size, isn't he? I mean, what we've seen from him this year, playing for the Allies and Gold Coast Academy as well, he's certainly got some real ability and looks like being an early selection for next year. He's a Japanese background as well.
Team Brown going forward, but intercept mark here by Will Parker. He switches play, kicks to the members' side, plays on. Did he? Yeah, he did play on. Still got enough to get it out, a clear handball out. Team Brown in the van, they've got the numbers. They get it across to Schofield. He takes a bounce, he kicks long. He's got Connor on the, almost a mark taken. This is Thilthorpe, kicks around the corner and hits the post. Gee, I thought Connor Downey almost had that in his mitts there, just bobbled out. Another behind. 4-1, 4-1 plays 5-2.
The snap and the agility from Rolly Thilthorpe was eye-catching, though, wasn't it? And that's what you come here to see, these sort of eye-catching moments. And from a big player, that was quite impressive.
197 centimetres and 94 kilos. It's a pretty impressive effort. Team Del Santo, they get it to Carroll in the middle. The second term is being dominated by them at the moment. Ball off hands. Smith coming through. Quick kick now from Goulden inside 50. It's a bouncing ball. It's across the face, through for a minor score.
I did just get a tap on the shoulder from Nick Del Santo as well, who's very happy about the form of his side in the past quarter or so. Very excited.
There's a touch of Eamon Buchanan about him at the moment. We've got a camera in here too. All right, Team Brown on half-back flank, members' side. Kicks along the line, looking for Phillips. Can't quite take the mark. Nice slipping handball by Schofield. Back to Phillips. They're moving the ball well here. Comes over to Coleman. Coleman looking for Connor Downey. Can't quite take it. They release the ball, kick to the outer wing.
And it's a dribbling ball towards that boundary line. It will beat all comers in the end. Let's go down to boundary side, Siobhan Rowe.
A quick update on the wind. The breeze was heading towards the city end in that first quarter, but the breeze has started to come towards the commentary box, so it is starting to pick up a little bit as well.
Just a blustery MCG. As the umpires picked out a free kick, it will go the way of Team Brown. Team Del Santo. In the end, it's Davies. Goes towards centre half forward. Good pass to Mcrae. Goes over the top. Inside 50, under a bit of pressure here is Stevens. Just shuffled one forward. Picked up, though, by Parker. Inboard kick, just a little too hot for Davies. Opportunity opens up now for Team Brown. Good work by hand to Ford.
Oh, it's open here.
Top of the 50-metre arc. They come in searching here for Reef McGuinness. Did he take the mark? He did, just in from the boundary line. He's got a couple of options inboard.
He's got one option, in my opinion. It's a banana.
And that's what he's ended up going to do. Reef McGuinness snaps just a little
bit
too
sharp.
cute.
Just a bit sharp.
Minor score.
We saw a bit of him, didn't we, this year for the Oakleigh Chargers in the NAB League. Played 12 games this season, including their premiership last week. So a member of Collingwood's Next Generation Academy, and also did quite well in the Futures game for Vic Metro late in the season. So he does look like a promising prospect for the Pies next season.
Carroll on half-back. They kick into the middle. Gee, they're open here. Ball's going to land in the hands of Mcrae. Just hooks it off the boot and through for behind. Comparisons between Finlay and Jackson Mcrae, Cal?
Yeah, there's a bit of... they have a little bit of the same gait, don't they, when they run with the ball, and the shoulders and all that type of thing. But look, Finlay's shown that he's a ball winner, and that's what Jackson certainly is. And the work that Finlay's done, particularly over the last month or so, for the Chargers in their lead up to the premiership was awesome. So had 22 touches in the preliminary final and 20 in the grand final. Looks a star in the making.
They go forward, Team Del Santo. Beats all comers, quick handball. They should have the numbers here, Team Brown. They're collared. Good attack. Oh, I think that might have been a... who did that for Dustin Martin special?
Well, Dustin got away with it.
He did. Not that time. All eyes are on you. We are 18 minutes into this second term. Team Del Santo lead 34-26. To bring the ball back in is James Borlase for Team Brown.
Yeah, very interesting story too, James Borlase. Potentially a controversial one too, because Adelaide has access to him under Next Generation Academy rules, but he's also the son of four-time Port Adelaide Premiership player Darryl Borlase. So,
dear oh dear.
Footy is in his blood already, but he'll be tied to the Crows. So
that'll be easy to work out.
That'll be a big talking point in South Australia next year, I dare say.
Connor Downey kicks deep into the forward line. We're in the front of goal. Here's a chance for Team Brown. They kick around the corner, Hollins, and it's through.
He loves doing that. That's his specialty. He's mercurial around goals. We saw that for the country at times throughout this season. Murray Bushrangers as well. He's actually finished school now, guys, or we will finish school in the next month or so at Caulfield Grammar, so he'll head back up to the Murray Bushrangers next year. Obviously, footy in his blood too, the son of Ben Hollins, the former Richmond player. I think he played about 8 games in the late 90s, so he'll be watching on today. And Elijah's certainly got some character and some star factor around goal.
Definitely one to keep our eyes on over the next 12 months as we head towards the 2020 draft for this crop of players. So a 2-point advantage the way of Team Del Santo as we head towards half-time here in the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures game. Part of the grand final day action here at the MCG. The umpires are going to come in and pull it up again. Rucks nominate. They get it to Durden. Coming out of the middle, straight up the corridor. Comes off hands, Jeffery. It was a dangerous handball in the end. Ma bouncing top of the goal square, all Team Brown. The handball comes to Crozier. He's got Downey over the top on half back. Hits him up. Target's just opening up, unable to bring it in there was Campbell. He's now under pressure from O'Driscoll. Still going, Campbell, well done. Ends up with a free kick, advantage taken by Hollins. Not the best of kicks, Coleman trying to apply the tackle. Now Ugelhagen coming in, strips it, gets caught himself. Is able to release the handball to Tilthorpe up against the boundary line, inside 50. Off hands, collected here by Green. Short one to Henry across the forward area for Team Brown. Durden goes wide with the kick. Weston bobbling in front. Lost his feet and Edwards able to recover. Chips it over the top to Bowie. From the Sandringham Dragons. Stabs it inboard, just gets to McInnes. On the attacking side of the southern stand wing. A little indecisive with where he wanted to go with it. In the end went short to Stevens. Inboard kick, brilliant. To Jamara Ugelhagen. An interesting story coming from South Warrnambool. Played with the GWV Rebels last season and now with the Oakley Chargers, Cal.
Yeah, and didn't just play, he starred, didn't he? He was a star for that. They're charged to the premiership and really took it on as the season went on. So tied to the Western Bulldogs, and you suspect that if you're doing next year's draft right now, he'd be one of the first names called.
Comes in after the siren, Jamara Ugelhagen just locked up in the air a little bit. And no further score added. So at half-time, 5-4-34, Team Del Santo. Team Brown, 5-2-32. It was a quarter, Cal, dominated by Team Del Santo.
Yeah, it was, and Alex Davies leads the way on the scoreboard sheet, or the stat sheet, with 13 touches and 3 clearances. Nathan O'Driscoll's been really good too with 12 disposals. Errol Gould's had 9 touches and a goal. For Team Brown, Eddie Ford's up to 13 disposals and 2 goals, while Elijah Hollins, the skipper, with 12 and 1, and Will Phillips with 12 disposals are other main ball getters on the ground. So look, they were really good. They were able to get back into the game, Team Del Santo, and get ahead when it looked like after that sort of start that they might be in a bit of strife. But look, it's been a really high-quality prospect game full of high-quality prospects, and that's what we like to see on a grand final day and a game like this. So we've seen in many years gone past where players have shot themselves up the draft board a year out, and we've seen a lot of players today state their claims to be talked about as early selections heading into the 2020 draft.
We'll take a break here at half-time. It is Team Del Santo 5-4-34 leading Team Brown 5-2-32. This is the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17 Futures game. Welcome back to the MCG for the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17 Futures game. Matthew Cox, Phil Crooks, Kevin Sheehan and Cal Toomey bringing you the action today. The best under-17 talents from across Australia participating in the curtain raiser for the 2019 AFL Grand Final. It was an entertaining first half as we welcome back Kevin Sheehan to the commentary box. Who were some of the names that stood out for you in that opening half, Kevin?
Well, there might be a few that we probably haven't mentioned as much. Jake Bowie, it was very impressive too, I thought, with his work as a very, very lively player up forward for Team Brown. And of course, Brett, his father, played about 85 games at St Kilda, so he's not quite eligible there for father-son Saints fans, but the redhead has been very prominent. A terrific year in the NAB League this year for Sandringham too. Played the 16 matches, averaged around 16 disposals, but also 3 tackles. So for a small forward, he's also prepared to work hard to keep the ball in. Be one to watch coming along as well. Loved the work of Luke Edwards today too. We did mention the son of Tyson. Just his composure is terrific. Unflustered type of player that keeps his feet. Very good in the contest and then uses it so well. Sets the play up for his team. So he's been good today. I mentioned Joel Jeffery very early, but loved his work. Not just in the air, very strong player in the air, but excellent at ground level, looks to have good speed. Elijah Hollins come into the game too in that second quarter. A wee bit quiet in the first for Team Brown, but he's a very dangerous player, this boy that was at Caulfield Grammar. And his dad not only played at Richmond, but was a star in the South Australian National Football League. Went across there, dominant player up in the O&M as well throughout his football journey. But Elijah Hollins, one of the more promising players as well. Sam Collins has also been prominent across half-back there for Team Brown. Very composed player that uses the ball so well. Great intercept marker. He's a boy from North Hobart that was one of the mainstays in the Tassie Devils team in the NAB League this year. And for Del Santo, a few of the other players. Finlay Mcrae worked his way into the game too. Cal mentioned him, but gee, I love the way he's developed this year. Very talented, dual-sided player, just his use of the ball. Jack Mcrae's brother, of course. But yeah, his run, his decision-making, use of the ball both sides is very, very impressive. Nathan O'Driscoll, I thought, was a very good player as well. The Western Australian, a boy from the Northern Saints. Plays at Perth in the West Australian Footy League and was a very good player in their championship-winning team at under-18 level this year under Peter Sumich, one of the bottom ages to play, and really catch the eye with those performances. And one boy up forward, a name to keep, is Ollie Lord, Alistair Lord's grandson. So that's how far we go back now. The Brownlow medalist of the 60s from Geelong, his grandson, in fact, coming through as the big tall forward that set up a very simple goal for his side with a great tap out to Errol Goulden at one stage and then took a mark there in that second quarter. There's some of the names that have caught the eye.
Alistair Lord had a twin, Stuart, didn't he?
Stuart Lord as well. Chairman of selectors for a long time. Both great players at Geelong, and Stuart is that chairman of selectors back in the 70s for the Cats.
So second half underway. Scrappy to get it. Trying to break free Carroll. He's caught. The umpire says, I'll come in and ball it up. So 5-4-34 Team Del Santo wearing the white strip today. 5-2-32 Team Brown. Just trying to regain some of the composure that they had in the opening term. Bowie's kick, fantastic in the end. Team Del Santo were able to go forward. Greatest of targets. Mark taken here by James Borlase. He goes short, very short. Collins loops the handball over to Reed. Further afield to Bowie on the outer side. Just putting it in front of himself. Neal up against the boundary line, gets caught, gives the handball to Coleman. Team Brown building down the southern stand side of the ground. Inside 50 now.
Oh, look at that.
Beautiful pass to Noah Gribble, who takes the mark directly in front, 35 metres out.
Yeah, is he related to the Liston medal winner?
He most certainly is, the brother of Tom Gribble that Well, mentioned his brother in his acceptance speech too, saying that he was in the pathway and a boy coming through. So young Noah played the 15 matches at the Falcons this year. Prolific ball winner, like Tommy's brother. Had 28 disposals against the Rebels at one point this year. Put that through nicely. And, yeah, about the 180 centimetres, but just his ball-winning ability is right up there with the best boys of his age around the nation.
Good work, giving Team Brown back the lead. That was a lovely setup of play there. Brought that inboard.
It was great positioning from him too, inside 50. There wasn't heavily congested, but he navigated well to find some space to take that mark.
Back in the middle of the ground. Umpire comes in, good bounce. Team Del Santo get the clearance, comes out wide. Nice tackle laid there by Durden, but they can go forward through Gribble and just can't hit the target inside the line. The ball to be thrown in between centre wing and half forward, right in front of the MCC members stand. Ball thrown in. Front position by Smith. Getting the ball out is Marr for Team Del Santo. Mark taken. Green spilt. Team Brown under all sorts of pressure in defence here. They release it by hand. Eventually it ends up with Downey. Downey goes out wide and Mark taken. Goes inboard. Long kick to centre half forward. Nice use of the body. Nudges out. Eventually they clear it. Coleman in the race. Feeds it backwards to go forward to Collins. Collins kicks it inside 50. Can't quite take the mark. Again, kick and a miss, and airy. Again, they get it out. Campbell kicks around the corner and makes it beautifully on the left boot. Braden Campbell from the Swans Academy.
Sometimes you only need a glimpse, don't you?
You only need a glimpse to know what they can do.
A thin slice of well, not just at the goals, but a thin slice as a scout of what ability's like. That's ability, isn't it? That's class. On the left foot once again with Campbell. Just needed a glimpse at him and popped it straight through.
As you watch it on replay, Kev, he's got half a second, if that.
Yeah.
To sum it up, some blokes just know where the goals are.
Yeah. I tell you who'd be excited today. It's not just these 48 kids that are part of this futures game, but the scouts having a look at this. They'll form an impression on the draft pool for next year at the end of today, over the next couple of days, in fact, as they go back over the game. It's so vital for clubs these days that they analyse the future, because they can trade their future picks, trade them in and out. And that will occur over the next fortnight or so. So it's vital information for them to really be up to date with the quality of the draft pool going forward. So this is a vital game in analysing that as clubs sort of deal with the future almost immediately.
Working a kick away there, Carter Michael. Ends up in the hands of Bowie. He goes forward for Team Brown. It's a wide searching kick. Toolthorpe unable to take it. It's a bobbling ball. Crozier feeds it back to Ugelhagen. Just bounced past Toolthorpe in the end and laid on a good tackle. Hollins coming through. Ugelhagen hovering. Just pops a little one over the top. Crozier feeds it by hand. Hollins just out of his grasp. Ball at centre half forward here for Team Brown. Works clear to Callow. Wide kick. Mark taken by Davies. Moves it quickly to Lake. Defensive side of the broadcast wing. Lobs it down the line. Big fly from Ugelhagen. Couldn't bring it in. His teammate, though, did. Zach Reed. Very subtle there from Reed as Bowie takes it, goes short. Phillips feeds it to Morris. Inside 50. Coleman went up against Toolthorpe and the bigger man won out. Riley Tilthorpe from West Adelaide.
Already played 6 league games, this boy, for West Adelaide. He's going to be a star in my view. Missed the Nationals due to injury as a bottom major. He would have played all year in Nationals, but late in the year made that debut, and he's close to, he's about 198 centimetres and still growing, this boy. Looks a real talent.
94 kilos too, Kev, as well. Not a string bean.
But All-Australian at under 16 level last year, a dominant player for SA at under 16 level.
Update on ground conditions. Let's head down boundary side to Siobhan Road.
An update with the wind. It's done a complete 180. It's now favouring the punt road end, so Team Del Santo, but Team Brown seem to be dominating in this quarter. Another side note, 22-minute flat quarters. Quite a few of these players will be used to the 25-minute flat quarters in the NAB League, but 22 today.
Beautiful. Now, having a shot for goal is Phillips for Team Brown. Gets under it a little, and just to the right through for another behind. Kicks him onto 7-4, 46, 5-4, 34. 2 goals the difference, and we're 7.5 minutes into the third term.
It's been good today, Will Phillips, as well. We saw him play through the finals with the Oakley Chargers in the NAB League, and it was impressive. He's the boy with the dancing feet. He's super agile, great in congestion. He's elite with his hands. Not a great deal of depth in his kicking, but his ball-winning ability, his contested ball-winning ability is fantastic, and his pressure is enormous. He's a tackling machine as well. Laid 9 tackles already today.
And he can add a smother to that as well, Kev. You can hear that very clearly through the effects mic. That was a thumping. He's a real ball magnet too. Playing in a team with Anderson and Rowell as well.
That's right.
He, I thought he really shone. Which, when it's hard to shine when you've got a couple of pretty big name players in your team.
Yeah, you've got great, we call it, say, footy personality to around groups. He is fantastic, a natural leader. He's got energy, vitality, trains well all the time, loves being in a team situation, so contributes on and off the ground.
Team Del Santo, it kicks to centre wing. Good work by Ugle-Hagan. Kick intercepted. Now they go forward. This is Ollie Lord. Can't quite take the mark. Nice defence. Schofield kicks into the middle, finds Campbell. Looping handball to Coleman. Lays it back to Campbell, who kicks long, long, long and straight through the middle.
Well, if we see a better passage of play a little bit later in the day, we'll probably be very happy. That's as good as you'll see. That's crisp play. That's a brilliant finish, but the whole setup was magnificent. The unselfishness, the crispness of it starts with Schofield. Campbell gets it, gives, and gets back. Very unselfish, team-oriented footy. But what about the finish from outside 50?
That from outside 50.
Outside 50 on the run. Brilliant passage of play. That's exciting footy, exhilarating footy. The future looks very, very bright for the game, I think, from what we're seeing today.
And if you're a Swans fan, you'd be pretty happy, given that he's aligned to the Swans Academy.
And they've had the Isaac Heaney's and the Callum Millses, which is terrific in recent years. But Errol Goulden as well coming through, as well as Braden Campbell. Here he is again.
Speaking of which, the two just collided. Campbell into no man's land. Bowie unable to take it. Now Michael gives it to Goulden. Short one along the boundary line. Good tackle laid on by Stevens. Ball's all wrapped up. The umpire's picked out a free kick. It will go the way of Team Del Santo. They're on half forward. Errol Goulden goes inside 50. Ugle-Hagan put up the contest, won his own ball. Davies unable to control it. Ball pops out to Carroll. It's a floating kick across the face, minus score. 5-5-35 plays 8-4-52. As Team Brown bring it back into play.
Blake Morris sends it to centre wing. Lachlan Jones to Chapman. Gets it back to Goulden. Back to Chapman. Ends up in the hands of Oliver Henry. He kicks deep and, yeah, mark taken. Intercept mark to James Ball-Ace. Near enough to the last line of defence. Ball-Ace got the whole ground in front of him. Pops it short, Ugelhagen. Drops what he probably should have taken, caught high. A little bit lucky there. 50 metres. Interesting to see Ugelhagen in defence.
We talk about Wallace. You mentioned earlier Darryl, the father, of course, 250 games at Port Adelaide, the Magpies and the Sandful. But Jenny, his mother, of course, was a champion netballer. In fact, 3 times world champion. We often give credit to the dads. We should give credit to the mums.
Go to the damn side.
Oh, go to the damn side.
Well, in horses you do.
Yeah, red and the purple there is James Ball-Ace with his family ties.
Team Brown off half-back. Stevens gets it to Phillips. Moves it quickly inside 50 for Team Brown. Good fist there from Callow. Got it to ground. Coleman. Oh, thread the needle. Got it to McInnes. Fortunately, though, he was unable to finish.
I liked Coleman up when I saw him at Southport. I even like him more today.
He's just got that natural instinct and X factor.
He's got the moves.
And again, if you're a Lions fan, all things going well, he might end up on the list in a couple of years' time. Goulden coming out of defence. A little too hot for Weston. Over the top of the footy there was Tilthorpe. Had to lay on the tackle in the end. Team Del Santo under all sorts of pressure. Forward hurried kick away. Ball's going to come back though. It'll be a free kick to Team Brown. Looks like it'll be Hollins to take it. At centre half forward. Spins the Sherrin in his hands. Elijah Hollins. Highly touted for the 2020 draft.
That's a kick.
Beautiful kick. Clears the pack. Goal to Elijah Hollins.
Not a problem. Just off a couple of steps as well. It's exceptional talent, that, isn't it? Exceptional talent. We have mentioned he's got great natural talent. And look, there's no Jonathan Brown and Nick Del Santo said that, look, talent's part of it. That it's the hard work, and so that's what these boys have got to dedicate their sporting lives to now, doing all of what they can to convert that promising talent into performance over a period of time and get consistency in their game. And Elijah Holland's got all of that talent. I think he's got that work ethic too that can make him a player. So very exciting to see how he unfolds next year. But this captain of Team Brown today has been very impressive.
Team Brown again. Clearing kick. Forward, drops what he should have taken, gathers, comes back. Got the wrong arc on the footy, and that is out of bounds.
Yep.
That kick from Hollins, he's kicked that one step over the centre square line with the man on the mark coming forward, and he's cleared it by 1.5 metres at the other end. That's a cracking kick of the footy.
And then he backed it up with the clearance out of the middle.
Centre.
Ball thrown in, taken out of the ruck. Now we've got Ford, and he kicks it round the corner, and he snuck this one in. Or Phillips, is it? Phillips. Will Phillips has snuck that round the corner, and Team Brown back in town. They move on to 10-4-64 to 5-5-35.
Just adding another string to his bow, isn't he, here with his smartness around goal. Great reader of the ball off hands is Will Phillips. Now up to 17 disposals, a goal along with his 11 tackles, right up to 11 tackles. So very competitive. He and Hollins are the two leading possession winners for their team. Team Brown with their 17 and 16. Bowie with 16. Ford with 16. And then for Del Santo, it's Goulden and Davies with 15 apiece that are the leading possession winners.
Gordon round after the ruck contest. Hollins goes forward. Bouncing ball. He'll get it back here, Elijah Hollins. Danced beautifully around traffic.
Oh, Good footy.
And then hit up a great target in Reef McGuinness. Inside 50. Off hands. Gobbled up by Bowie. Lurking. Was unable to do anything with it. Weston. Just put the handball into a bit of space. That tackle a little too high and a free kick to Team Brown. They move it quickly inside 50. And get a mark through Joel Jeffery. Probably been a little quiet after the opening term, where he did a few nice things.
Remember that very shortened quarters, just at the 22s flat, so probably a third of game time down on what a normal game would be, and with basically 24 per team, most players will only get 75% of game time. So all those factors, a 20-possession game's like a 30. Jeffrey's had his 10. It's probably like about a 15. Just got to
and you can
take that into account. That's a great finish. Great finish. We mentioned him earlier. I think he's a real prospect, this boy. Love his versatility, size, athletic ability, his ability overhead, marks it well, and that's a great finish.
191 centimetres, but only the 75 kilos.
So they've piled on 6 goals, Team Brown. This quarter, Team Del Santo yet to get a major on the board. See if they can sneak one, as we mentioned, as we lurch into the 18th minute of the third term. We're back in the centre. Again, another good bounce. Clearance for Team Brown. Henry Walsh couldn't quite pick it up. Now it flips out. Team Brown again. This is Connor, gets it through, gets it back to Gribble. He's dispossessed. Comes out to Jones. Kicks it backwards to Weston. Goes inboard. Jack Carroll. He goes laterally into the middle of the ground. He sets up Will Parker. He goes wide. They're on here. Oh, needs to be clean. Runs into a bit of trouble. Gets it back to Parker. He's collared. Now they could be in a little bit of trouble. Goes out to Shannon Neal. He kicks up high. He's looking for Jeffery, who marks. And he's marked this right on the 50-metre. He looks, has a think about it. Tells these boys, I think I've got this covered. He will be on 65-degree angle. He's going to kick from just outside 50. He's going to try a torpedo punt here. This is interesting. And he's made a meal of that one. They're all duck or no dinner, those torpedo punts. They're good when they come off. I would have been lauding him. As the ball is repelled for Team Del Santo. It's going to come back from whence it came. Whoa. Nice kick forward to Crozier, and he is marked on the 50-metre line directly in front.
Schofield the pass, I think. Yep.
It was lightning. I'm going to hazard a guess he's not going to try a torpedo punt, this guy. He comes in directly in front, launches, and might be just to the left through for a behind. 11-5-75 leads 5-5-35. It is all Team J. Brown.
It's Team Del Santo try and get it out of the defensive 50 arc. They've been able to hit up Joel Weston. And a minute and a half left on the clock in this third term. Weston, risky going backwards. Now they're under pressure here, Team Del Santo. A high ball towards the wing. Campbell was unable to bring it in. Came off hands to Lord. One-on-one inside 50. Floats out the back.
Bounce.
Awkward bounce. Coming late, Durden was unable to do much with it. Team Brown. Get a kick to Edwards. Quickly over the top to Downey. Half back. Down the line to Tilthorpe. Stood tall. Good mark. Has Coleman inboard. Gives it to Campbell. Navigates traffic beautifully. Goes to the outer side, searching for Schofield under pressure. Still tracking the ball. Probably one off the side of the boot. Did Boulais no favours. He coughs the handball up to Callow, who just whacks boot to ball. A high one towards the centre wing, searching for Durden. He moves it forward for Team Del Santo. Ball should be seen over the boundary line, and is. As we tick down towards three-quarter time. Handy lead to Team Brown.
And long live the curtain raiser here on grand final day, guys. I'll leave you in a second heading down. But whether it's Adam Goods that won the best on the ground here, or Brent Harvey or Dale Thomas, they've all, as young kids, made their first impression as potential AFL stars at this venue on this special day. And I think that we've seen glimpses today of some very, very special players. So it's a pleasure to have been here early and had a look at it. And we look forward to seeing how these boys unfold and which of them will go on to become household names in our game.
Big 12 months ahead as they head towards the 2020 AFL draft. Thanks to Kevin Sheehan for joining us in the commentary box throughout the match. 11-5-71, Team Brown leading Team Del Santo 5-5-35. 1 quarter remaining in the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17 Futures game. We'll be back after the break. Welcome back. Final term action about to get underway here at the MCG. It is Team Brown 11.5.71 to Team Del Santo 5.5.35. Quick ball inside 50, cut off by Chapman. Takes the mark in the heart of defensive 50 for Team Del Santo. Wide ball came off hands, gathered by Lord, flicked the handball backwards. A dinky little kick. Carter Michael had to work hard to take it. Short one. She's very cute with the kicks early here, Team Del Santo, in this final term. The umpire says, give it to me, I will ball it up. In the centre wing, members side, Coleman. Top of the 50 arc, spinning through Chapman. Gets it to Lake, up against the boundary line, driven into the turf. There was O'Driscoll. Jeffery emerged with it, but was shoved off. Ball bobbling around. Chaos footy. Early stages in this final term. Ended up in the hands of McGuinness. Centering ball, Campbell lurking. We know what he can do. Dribbling ball. Doesn't get the kind bounce.
Coleman.
Handball in, but Coleman beautifully.
He's got the moves. He's got the moves, Blake Coleman. Got the name for it too.
Yeah. Yes, he does. Look, he's actually a relation to Kadean Coleman, who's eligible for this year's draft. Kadean was overlooked last year by every club, including the Brisbane Lions, but looks more of a chance to be picked up this year. So there might be some success on the horizon for the Coleman family over the next 2 drafts with Blake eligible next year. So that was a really nice move, wasn't it? He knew sell a little bit of candy out there and make a little bit of space for himself. And look, he's been pretty lively at different stages across today. He's had 12 touches and that's his 2nd goal. So a pretty impressive performance for Blake Coleman, the Brisbane Lions Academy prospect.
Back in the middle. 2 minutes into this last quarter. They go again. It's Team Brown going to get the clearance. Oh, dirty bounce. Comes back to Jemesny. He gets it across to Joel Weston. Weston wheels round back to the right. Penetrating kick inside 50, over the back. Good punch forward. Ball in dispute, 30 metres out from goal. Umpire will come in and ball this up. Umpires have done a good job in this game too. Umpired it in the right spirit of the game. Ball gets flipped out. Quickly boot to ball was Carter Michael, but it's marked in the last line of defence. And that is Blake Morris. He comes to the members' side of the ground. Mark taken by Nick Stevens. Between back pocket and half back. He's going to switch play back the other way. And that has depth. They worry me when they do that, Matthew, always in any game. And that's a lovely intercept mark there by Oliver Henry. Got a nice set of shoes on him too as he comes in, makes no mistake and gets Team Del Santo back on the scoreboard. 6-5-41 to 12-5-77.
Yeah, one of a number of Geelong Falcons prospects who gained some experience towards the end of this NAB League season as bottom majors. So we saw Henry out there. We saw Henry Walsh, the ruckman, who we've spoken a little bit about today as well. We've seen Tanner Bruin too a little bit today. So we saw them all at different stages later in the season. So I'd expect that after what looks like being maybe a quieter year on the Falcons front this year, the factory, maybe a little bit of a quieter season. Maybe next year we'll see some more Geelong Falcons products. So Oliver Henry's right at the top of that list.
Back in the middle, emerging through Marr, caught. Ball spills free. It's Team Brown, Gribble. Sends the handball backwards. That kick not the greatest. Callow takes the mark. Goes towards the centre wing. Gribble again, he's caught. A little too high. And we'll get a free kick just in front of the interchange gates. His kick, not great. Marr takes the mark. Defensive side of the broadcast wing goes inboard with the kick. Flying there was Morris, unable to bring it in. Team Del Santo surging forward through Durden. Vacant goal square, but it was just to the left and ended up hitting the woodwork. minus score. 6-6-42 Team Del Santo. They trail Team Brown 12-5-77. As the short kick comes to Saxon Crozier.
Crozier on half back, kicks into the middle, forward. Stops, props. Gonna switch play wide to the southern stand side. Oh, up there, Kazali. Great mark. Taken by little Jake Bowie. They play on straight away. Get it into Campbell. Campbell will wheel round on the left. Penetrating kick inside. 50. And 3 bites of the cherry, and the mark is taken by Reef McGuinness on the chest.
Not really usually known for his aerial exploits, Bowie, but we see him get up here and take the ride. He's a footballer's footballer. He's such a great user by foot, and we'll see Lockie Whitfield out here later today. I know people at Sandringham Dragons talk about Bowie as having the same ability on his left and right as Lockie did at his sort of age. So this now becomes a certain goal, a 50-metre penalty, so Reef McGuinness will make the most of that.
Reef McGuinness comes in, kicks it into the Richmond cheer squad. Not quite, hits the net behind the goals. And it's another one for Team Brown. You can just see the smile on Jonathan Brown's face as each goal goes through. He'll have the bragging rights over anyone that'll listen for the next 12 months. 13-5-83 to 6-6-42, 6.5 minutes in.
And I think Richmond fans will be happy that Punt Road End's starting to see some action.
Yeah, most of the goals been at the City or Ponsford stand end.
It's getting a bit nervous that it might be an omen towards this afternoon's match. So ball back in the middle. Healthy lead to Team Brown. Walsh beautifully inside 50. They work it to Henry. Oh, trying to find space. It's stolen. Hollins feeds the handball to Bowie. He'll hit up Phillips. Defensive side of the outer wing. Kick inboard. Crozier. Well, they got numbers on this broadcast side. One of them, Schofield. Does beautifully to sell a bit of candy. Goes towards half forward where the mark is taken by Logan McDonald. Just outside 50. Pokes it short. And the mark is taken by Shannon Neal. A couple of WA products.
Yeah. He's a developing prospect. He also played this as a 17-year-old in this year's under-16, so a standout player there. He's actually a national 400-metre and 800-metre runner who declined to go to the Nationals this year to focus on his footy, so some real athletic traits about him.
And that one's just going to fall short. The pack rushes forward, out the back, scoring the goal, Reef McGuinness.
Nice snap. Just as that comes up on replay, he was on the wrong side there for a right footer. He was close in, but sharp angle for Reef McGuinness. As Team Brown surge further ahead, 14-5-89 to 6-6-42. 8.5 minutes in.
We've seen a few moments like that today, Cal, where players just hovering around the contest find just a little bit, just a slight opening in the door.
Yeah.
And they're able to do something special.
And it sticks in the mind, doesn't it? I heard Shifted before just talking about the recruiters who are here and how much it stays in the mind of them. Look, they're just looking for bits and pieces to take away from this game and say, well, these are the guys we should have underlined and circled for next year. And certainly Reef McGuinness, if the scouts are watching today, would have been one of those guys. And Collingwood recruiters in particular will be keeping a very close eye on him over summer. I expect he'll spend some time training with the Magpies and getting to know their program really well.
Centre wing, southern stand side. Whistle, kicks to half forward. Oh, mark not taken. Free kick going to Team Del Santo, advantage. Kick out wide, but the ball beats all comers. Luke Edwards, Oliver Henry couldn't take that. Ball to be thrown in between wing and half forward. Right in front of the AFL members there. In she comes. Tap forward. No one getting a clear possession. Umpire will come in and ball this up again. Perfect conditions here at the MCG. Nice tap out by Walsh. Bowie. Quick play on, just punches that out of the air. Good work. They're looking to switch play. 3 bounces. Kick to centre half forward. And lovely mark by Phillips on the left boot. He's got Jeffery on the run. Thinks about playing on, but says, no, I'll go back and take a set shot.
How good was that piece of play there? We saw Braden Campbell bust through the back line, make space for himself, spot up Will Phillips, who took the mark, and then he delivered it beautifully, really, to Jeffery on the lead and into space. So some high-quality prospects involved there. You'd think on the basis of what we've seen across this season, Will Phillips will be one of the first midfielders selected next year, and gee, Braden Campbell's made a fair case to be one of them alongside him as well.
As Jeffery comes in and kicks straight through the centre. So for the uninitiated, Cal, for the Swans to get Campbell, what do they need to do? Is it like a father-son situation?
Yeah, he's a member of their Northern Academy, like Errol Goulden, so he'll go through the same bidding process that a father-son would, and that all the NGA prospects will as well. So they will have to match the bid. They'll have the option of matching the bid wherever it comes next year, and they'll have to pay for that bid with the amount of points that they're prescribed under the draft value index system. So it's a little bit complicated, but in the end they have first call on him, so that makes him theirs. They have rights to him, they're attached to him through their academy, and they can either decline or match that offer. But look, the way he's playing, I don't think you can see him
you don't have to think twice.
No.
So ball up. Davies got one over the shoulder and will get a free kick. Member of the Gold Coast Suns Academy. Goes towards half forward. Missed everyone. Tracking it though, Green. Nice. He's still alive here. Team Del Santo. Carroll. He's put it through. Consolation goal for Jack Carroll from East Fremantle over in Western Australia.
Yeah, boy from Geraldton actually. So played well in a country level grand final last week. Was actually named best on ground. So there's a few guys out here who come into this game with really good form. He can play as a utility. He's also shown some good form on the ball. So yeah, really nice left foot kick and a good user of the ball who reads the game really well in play. So he's been tipped as a bit of a smoky for next year. So maybe watch him as the early rounds of next season progress, because been tipped as someone who can potentially jump up the draft board.
And also one of the 16-year-olds currently running around on the ground. Doesn't turn 17 until the 20th of December.
Ball. Team Del Santo through Western. Oh, nice tackle there laid on Callow. Ball in dispute. Durden working hard. Phillips again just wrestles the ball out. Eventually they get it out, Team Brown. I think that was Elijah Hollins. Coleman running towards it. Good interception. O'Driscoll comes off the side of his boot. Bowie makes ground and marks it. Wants to play on, told to play on. Goes in short and Ford marks it on his chest. Hard up against the boundary line. He knows what he wants to do. Come on, Eddie. Show us what you can do. He is hard up. He's going to kick it around the corner, gets on the left boot, gives it plenty of air. A little, might have got the fat belly of the ball, just went across through for a behind.
Let's head down boundary side. Siobhan Rowe.
I'm down on the ground with Lee Brown, a healthy lead to Team Brown, but you do have a lot of great players on your team at the moment. Finlay Mcrae is playing really well, so is Errol Goulden. Can you tell us a little bit about those two boys and also who else has stood out for you?
Yeah, Finlay started really well in the midfield and uses the ball so well. Got some of his brother's traits, doesn't he? So Errol's looked really crafty in the front half of the ground and uses the ball by foot really well. So yeah, we've got some really good players across the board, and unfortunately so the opposition today. So it's a great spectacle though, and the boys are showing all their little characteristics that hopefully we can see not only next year but going forward in the AFL.
What was your mantra pre-game versus sort of weighing up between winning the game and also letting these players showcase their talent out on the MCG on grand final day?
Yeah, it's all about them showing their talent. So yeah, winning would be nice, but on this occasion it's all about the boys being able to showcase what they got and show us what their one wood is or their weapon, and making sure they get the opportunity to do that. And we've seen that today from all the boys.
Thanks for your time, and the future's certainly in good hands.
Lee Brown there chatting with Siobhan Rowe down on the boundary as Josh Tracy's able to put through his first for the day.
It's a good grab, wasn't it?
Brilliant grab.
Solid.
Under pressure. He's a strong-bodied marking forward. He actually kicked 4 goals against the Geelong Falcons earlier this year, so put his name on the map at that point, playing the NAB League. Finished the season with 15 goals, so a key forward to watch for next year. Everyone loves a key forward, don't they, Crooksy? So
We do.
He looks like a big-bodied one, and it's a nice grab under pressure.
And I don't mind them from Bendigo Pioneers. I always seem a bit hardened to me, the Bendigo Pioneer boys.
Yes, they haven't had a lot of luck with Bendigo Pioneers in recent years, so hopefully they can start to turn in the next couple of seasons.
All right, Team Brown. They clear it. This is Crozier. Saxon Crozier.
Yeah, member of Brisbane's academy as well, so a really modern-sized player.
Got a rock and roll name, Saxon
Great.
Crozier.
Yep.
Kick to centre half forward is all Team Del Santo. They don't take the ball. And the ball will be thrown up right on the line of the centre square. Jollymont end. Up they go. Grabbed out off the ground. He's caught, and the umpire will come in and ball this up again. Clear the play for me, Matt.
Ball at centre half forward. The sun just starts to come out here at the MCG 2019 Grand Final day. Best prospects heading towards the 2020 draft on display. Hot series of handballs there. Brand pops it straight up the corridor. In the end, good desperate mark. Taken in the middle there by Green. And they release the handball quickly, miles away. Strolls to the 50 arc. Just pushes it to the left-hand side and a minus score. Back downstairs, Siobhan Rowe.
Nathan O'Driscoll for Team Del Santo has just gone down into the rooms and taken his GPS off, so his day is done.
Okay, going forward is Team Del Santo through Davies, who snaps at goal and squeezes it in.
There's another one of those moments.
Exactly right. He's had a few, to be fair, hasn't he? He's up to 18 disposals. That's his first goal. Also 4 clearances. What we like about him is his size. He's just a big-bodied midfielder, isn't he? At 190 centimetres and 80 kilos. So Alex's mum is Japanese, and 2 of his sisters are also born in Japan. And he played for Australia's under-17 side earlier this season. Also an elite junior basketballer. So we saw that movement in tight spots there, didn't we? Just his ability to get out of traffic and weave through and just hit the scoreboard. So has been likened a little bit. I know there's a big call, and someone who has dominated grand finals in the past, to Simon Black, with his vision and awareness in tight. So someone that hopefully can keep improving next year for the Gold Coast Suns Academy and end up at that club.
I just think it's fantastic. At 16, he's moved from Cairns down to surface. That's at 16, I couldn't catch the tram into the city, Cal. So it's a great effort. Great. I've had my eyes on him the whole way.
Yeah, and Cairns is becoming a bit more of a footy hotbed, isn't it? Because of the success of people like Jack Bowes who've come into the system and done so well. And he's another one who did come down from Cairns and moved to the Gold Coast as his draft year grew closer. And we've seen what a star on the rise Jack Bowes is at the Suns.
All right. Up they go. Centre wing, free kick, whistle blown. Not happy about it. Has to hand the ball back. This is Henry Walsh, brother of Sam. Kicks to half forward. The big men fly. Comes off the hands of the pack and over the boundary line, out of bounds. Half forward flank.
And I've liked what we've seen from Henry Walsh at times today. Look, he's never going to be a massive possession winner at this age, but I like his aggression. I like his competitiveness. I like his ability to fight for the ball at ground level. We saw it a little moment ago when he got the clearance out of the centre and followed up his own work in the ruck. So it's rare that you see players of his size at his age dominate games, but I think with his bloodlines, he'll be a player to watch for next year and well beyond. I can see him definitely playing AFL.
As the kick comes short, Mcrae. It's a little one over the top. Team Del Santo go inside 50. It was a piercing ball. In the end, didn't grab the intended target. Caught. Here's Borlase. And gives away the free kick. So ball in the hands of Josh Green, a member of the Giants Academy.
Yeah. And look, a brother off as well. His brother Tom is in this year's draft and looks set to be a very early pick. They're about the same height, which shows how valuable Tom is as a midfielder, because Josh is more of a key position type at this end of his career.
And he's
Good goal.
Slot that one through there, Josh Green.
Excellent work. His brother's a serious talent.
Yeah.
Like his brother.
They've got a couple this year, the Giants. They're going to be playing here later today, but currently in their academy, eligible for the draft a little later this year. You've got not only Tom Green, but also Liam Delahunty. It's quite good combination heading towards the draft for the Giants Academy.
Yeah, both will be at the Combine next week, which is staged just around here, actually, for the first time in about 10 years. It's out of the Marvel Stadium venue into the Melbourne Parks sort of complex, so they'll be around here next week. 79 prospects from around this country.
Ball in the middle as we in the shadows of the final siren. It's going to be a comprehensive win to Team J Brown as there's a whistle on play there, and the umpire won't have an opportunity. Final score 16-6, 102 Team Brown to Team Del Santo 9-7-61.
Yeah, and a few of the standouts across the day were easily Elijah Hollins. He had 24 disposals, 6 tackles, 5 clearances, 4 inside 50s and 2 goals as the captain of Team Brown. So you'd expect, this is just my call, guys, but I expect either Elijah Hollins or, and I say this or, it's one or the other, Braden Campbell to take out the medal as the best on ground in this performance. Braden Campbell, the Swans Academy prospect, had 14 disposals and kicked 3 goals in a really classy display. Jack Bowie was really good with 22 disposals, very sharp with the ball. Will Phillips had 21 touches, but also 14 tackles, guys. So an outstanding
14 tackles.
An outstanding performance there. And Will again shows what a worker he is in traffic and through congestion. Eddie Ford started well. He had 2 goals at the quarter time. Finished with 20 disposals as well. And Connor Downey was another one who grew into the game with 19 disposals. For Team Del Santo, the losers today, Errol Goulden had 19 disposals and 1 goal. So another good performance from the Swans Academy prospect. Alex Davies, we mentioned him just a little bit earlier. The Gold Coast Academy midfielder had 18 touches and a late goal. Joel Weston out of the Fremantle Next Generation zone had 14 touches and provided some highlights, while Corey Durden, the captain, was also quite lively with 11 disposals and 1 goal too. So overall, I would have thought a very even spread of contributors, and I think if you're a scout leaving today, you would have been pleased with some of the talents on display, because that's what it's here for. It's a showcase game. It's an exhibition of next year's talent, and I think we got that across a number of players and a number of performers today.
And it was, I suppose, me coming, it's the first one I've seen live. I was a bit worried, not worried, but a few concerns it might have been an exhibition game. The amount of tackling involved and it was just terrific to watch. Good footy.
Yeah, hard fought, wasn't it? And you don't expect much less, really. I think when you put competitors like these guys out against each other and say, there's the ball, go and get it, not many of them take a backward step. And look, these guys, they consume a fair bit of draft content across their sort of teenage years, and they see who's performed well in these games in previous years, and they know that it can really set you up for what's to come going forward. So, look, it's definitely a chance for them to impress and to set up their draft hopes for next year. And look, a few of them certainly have done that today.
Well, as Kevin said earlier, Sam Taylor,
yep,
for the Giants today. Like 4 years ago, he was doing exactly the same thing. Now he's got Dermot Brereton saying he's going to be the best defender in the game in a couple of years' time, and he's playing in a grand final.
It's a fantastic initiative, and let's hope it continues for many years to come, because you know, across this game and across many years, we've seen players perform on grand final morning.
Let's head down to Roger Berryman now with the presentation for today's NAB All-Stars Under-17s Future Game.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've just watched the next generation of AFL stars competing in today's curtain raiser, the annual NAB AFL Under-17 Futures match. All these young men will be turning 17 years of age this year and be eligible for the draft in 2020. This game provides the AFL club recruiting personnel and fans the chance to see the future stars on show as part of our game's biggest day. Many of these players were prominent in this year's NAB AFL Under-18 Championships as bottom-age players, and we look forward to watching their progression as they move forward in their footballing careers. The two teams have been named after recently retired AFL champions Jonathan Brown and Nick Del Santo, and coached respectively by NAB AFL Academy head coach Luke Power and AFL Country Under-18 coach Lee Brown. We've got two presentations to make today, both on behalf of NAB, who continue to be an amazing partner of the AFL's Rising Stars program. The first presentation is the medal for the best player, and I'll ask from NAB Mr. Tom Dobson, Head of Media and Partnerships, to come forward and announce and present the medal. Thanks, Tom.
Thanks, Roger. On behalf of NAB, I'd like to present from Team Brown, Braden Campbell with Best on Ground.
Hey everyone, just like to thank the coaches. That was unreal camp. I'd like to thank NAB and all the boys. Yeah, it was unreal. Thanks, guys.
Well done, Braden. The NAB Under-17 Futures match is played for the Kevin Sheehan Trophy, named after a man who's spent over 40 years in developing talent in Australia and abroad, and whose passion to provide young players with an opportunity to fulfil their dreams continues today. If Kevin could come forward and present the trophy to the winning captain of Team Brown, Elijah Hollins.
I would just like to firstly thank NAB for holding this event. I know all 48 of us boys are very thankful for being able to come out here on the MCG on AFL Grand Final Day and show our stuff. And to thank you to all the staff and players for making the last couple of days a really enjoyable experience. Thank you.
That concludes our presentation today. Thanks very much, everyone, and have a great day.
There you go, best of field, Braden Campbell, 3 goals. The Sydney Swans Academy star in the making, that's for sure, as Team Brown celebrate the victory with the Kevin Sheehan Trophy. Cal, quick summary of today's performances, and looking ahead to 12 months' time, there's some very exciting individuals out there.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw a lot of them out there today. And look, you can't go past what we mentioned just before. Elijah Hollins, outstanding. Jake Bowie was terrific. Will Phillips put his name up there again. Eddie Ford, and look, Braden Campbell. I think Swan supporters, if they tuned in today, would have been pretty excited about what's to come in the future. So overall, I think The scouts will leave here today with a pretty good impression of what the 2020 draft pool looks like and the talent across the board. So overall, a great exhibition of footy for next year's draft pool.
And we're excited about what the next 12 months holds for these 48 players out on the park. That wraps it up for the 2019 NAB All-Stars Under-17s Futures Games. Thanks to Kevin Sheehan for jumping in the commentary box throughout the match. Also to Cal Toomey for sharing his thoughts and insights. Big thanks to Siobhan Rowe down on the boundary for us today. To Phil Crooks calling all the action. I'm Matthew Cox. Been a pleasure to have your company. We look forward to seeing you again soon.